Hello, sports fans and baseball fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. I'm back with a card and dice baseball game for you, the first one in a while since I have been battling through some health issues and also my basement being flooded, and I had to have work done on the basement, which led to a lot of things being put other places. And so anyway, this is my first attempt back at a card and dice game. I know that's what you all would rather see than my computer games that I've been putting up. And today we're going to have what Kurt Berglund would call a bad baseball game. It's going to be the 2021 Orioles, who were 52-110, taking on the 1972 Rangers, who were 54-100. So two very bad teams going at it here. And we will have the, I've got the pitcher's card up here. And oh, by the way, we are doing the basic game just because I want to do the basic game. And I have realized I didn't bring a pen out, so I will go get a pen. Okay, we are doing the basic game just because I want to do the basic game. We are going to modify that slightly. There will be some advanced aspects to it, like, throwing out runners from the outfield. I'm going to use the outfield arms in the advanced section. And we are going to, for base runners, we're going to do an automatic -2, and then we're going to factor in the catcher's arm if they're being watched. But the only time, pretty much everybody that gets on, I'm just going to say they're being watched. So that means there's going to be no weather effects. There isn't going to be whatever else goes along with the advanced game. It's just going to be the basic game. We're going to play it. We're going to see how it goes. So with all of that having been said, let's get into this game. For the visiting team will be the Orioles, so I have them on the wrong side. The visiting team is the Orioles, and their lineup will be Cedric Mullins in center field leading off. Austin Hayes will bat second and be the left fielder. Ramon Urias will be the shortstop batting third. Ryan Mountcastle will be at first base, and he's the cleanup hitter. Trey Mancini is going to be the DH batting fifth. Santander will be the right fielder batting sixth. Pedro Severino will be the catcher batting seventh. Mikhail Franco will be the third baseman batting eighth. And batting ninth will be Kelvin Gutierrez, and he will be the second baseman. Pitching today for the Texas Rangers is Rich Hand, and his card is right here. And so with all of that having been said, we're going to get on with this. And hopefully this goes off well. Anyway, Cedric Mullins is up first, and he gets a 1-9, and that is a fly ball to right. So we are going to put the 9 in there. And there's one down, and Austin Hayes is up. Austin Hayes gets a 5-8. 5-8 on Rich Hand is a fly ball left, so that's going to be a fly ball to 7. And that brings up Ramon Urias, and he gets a 5-5, and that's going to be a strikeout. So the Orioles go 1-2-3 very quickly, and that will bring up the Texas Rangers. We will take Hand out of here for a second, put him off to the side. The pitcher for the Orioles today will be John Means, and his card is right here. The lineup for Texas will be Dave Nelson leading off and playing third base. Elliot Maddox will bat second and play center field. Toby Harrah is the shortstop batting third. Ted Ford will be the right fielder batting in the cleanup spot. Dick Billings will be the catcher and bat fifth. Batting sixth will be Larry Double-I Bittner, the first baseman. Batting 7th will be Joe Levito, and he's going to play left field today. Batting 8th will be Hal King, the DH. He is one of the backup catchers, and they do have another one, so if he gets injured or whatever, or if Billings gets injured, I can bring in the other backup catcher. And Lenny Randall will be the second baseman, and again, they will all be facing John Means, with Dave Nelson leading off. 6-7 is on his card. It's going to be a single 1-4, but that is not. It's actually a line out to second base. So Dave Nelson goes out 4. And no hits so far in this game. Elliot Maddox, the second batter. 6-4 is going to be a pop out to third base. So that is an out 5. And Toby Harrah's out. And Toby Harrah gets a 6-8, and that is a strikeout. So just like the Texas Rangers, or just like the Baltimore Orioles, rather, the Texas Rangers go 1, 2, 3, and they are out. And so we will put Rich Hand back in. Rich Hand in 1972 was 10-14 with a .332 earned run average. In general, the reason these teams were so bad was two different things. I think for Texas, it was just that they had a bad lineup and they couldn't hit to save their lives. And but they had decent pitching. But for the Orioles, it was they had somewhat decent hitting, but they had a terrible bullpen, and probably some of their starters were also not very good. Ryan Mountcastle will be leading off for the Orioles here in the second. 6-4 is going to be a ground ball third base X. The third baseman for the Rangers is a 4. That is a 14. So we'll take a look at that. 14 and 4 is a one base error. So Mountcastle is on by an E5. And that brings up Trey Mancini. And Trey Mancini gets a 5-7. That's a ground ball to second base X. The second baseman for them is a 5. That's not going to be good. And that is a roll of 18. 18 and 5. That's a single 2. So Mountcastle goes all the way to third. And Mancini gets a single, and that is going to be a hit allowed by hand, the first hit allowed by hand, and also he has a strikeout, which I need to track, and so does Means. That brings to the plate Anthony Santander, and he gets a 6-10. 6-10 is a fly ball center field X. All these X's are killing Texas. Although the center fielder is a 2, that's a 6. So let's see what that results in. That is going to be an out, 4 runners hold. So the fly out is shallow and nobody scores. Severino is the batter. Pedro Severino, the catcher. 6-8. And that is going to be a line out to the shortstop. So he's out. What is the shortstop? 4? I guess he's 6. 6, yeah. All right, so he's out, and that brings up Mikhail Franco. There's 2 down, and he gets a 2-2, which is a line out to third base. So he lines out, and the damage is not done at all since everybody got out after those first 2 guys got on. So no runs in the second for the Orioles. We're going to the bottom of the second for Texas, and they'll lead off with Ted Ford, and I will put Rich Hand off to the side for a minute, and we will put Means back out there. So Means is pitching to Ted Ford. That is a 4-9. That's going to be a ground ball to second base. So he's out 4. And Dick Billings is up, and he gets a 6-7. That is going to be a line out to second base. And Larry Bittner, double I Bittner, gets a 1-9, and that is going to be a ground ball to first base. So he's out 3. No runs for the Rangers. We go to the top of the 3rd. So we put him off to the side, and Rich Hand comes in. Again, 0-0 game. We've got Kelvin Gutierrez up, yes. He gets a 1-7. That's a ground ball to the third baseman. So that's actually 5-3. I've been recording some of these ground outs as just the first guy, but Cedric Mullins back to the top of the lineup gets a 4-2. That's a fly to center. So that is a one guy only to be mentioned. And Austin Hayes. Austin Hayes gets a 4-10. That is a fly to right. So he flies out to right. No runs come in for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. And again, we will send Means out there. And Means is going to be pitching to the Texas lineup with Joe Levito coming up. And that is going to be a 6-6, which is going to be a single. So he gets a hit, and Means gives up his first hit. Hal King is up, and Hal King is going to get a walk. That was the only thing in the column. It advances Levito to second, and Means gives up a walk. So the Texas Rangers have 2 guys on with Lenny Randle up. 6-6. That is going to be a single double asterisk, and it's going to score a run. Levito is the run scorer. And that'll also send Hal King over to third base. Runners are at the corners with Dave Nelson up. Dave Nelson gets a 4-3. 4-3 is a ground ball, first base C. Infield was not in. So Hal King scores on that. And Lenny Randle will go to second. And there is 1 out. So that is going to be a 4-3. And Elliot Maddox is up with 1 down, 3-4 is a ground ball pitcher, B. So he goes 1-3. And Toby Hare is up. And he gets a 5-5, which is a strikeout. So Means strikes a guy out, but he also gives up 2 runs. And on 2 hits. And we are set for the right guy to be up next time. So Means, we'll take Means off to the side again. And we will put Hand back in. So now Hand has a 2-run lead. As the Rangers scored 2 in the 3rd. We go to the top of the 4th. Ramon Urias is up. He gets a 2-7, which is a single. So that's a hit allowed by Hand, and a man aboard for the Orioles with Mountcastle batting. He gets a 4-8. That's going to be a single double asterisk. It sends Urias to third. And it's a single for Mountcastle. There's 2 on and nobody out for the Orioles. Bringing up Trey Mancini. Trey Mancini with a 4-2. That's a fly ball right field C. Runners will hold. And there's 1 down. Santander is up. Anthony Santander, 4-8. That is a single double asterisk, and it scores Urias. It also sends Mountcastle over to third. And Pedro Severino is up. He gets a 5-11. That's a ground ball to first base, X. Their first baseman is a 3. That is a 10. 10 and 3 at first base is an out. 3, and that is runner on first is out going to second. Let's see, was there a runner at first? I think there was, so yeah, that's a double play. And they are out of the inning. So that was, let's see, 5-11, ground ball first. That was, we'll call it a 3-4-1 double play. And they only get 1. The Orioles come away with 1 in the 4th. And we will take Rich Hand out of there. Put Means back, so this is a pretty close game, 2-1 between two bad teams. Ted Ford is up. Gets a 3-12, that's a fly to center. That brings up Dick Billings. Dick Billings gets a 6-7. That's a line out to second. And that brings up Larry Double I Bittner, and he gets a 5-8. Ground ball second base, X. Their second baseman is a 4. That's a 20. And that's an out. So 4-3. No runs for the Rangers. We go to the top of the 5th. Take Means back out of there. Ooh, put Rich Hand in. Mikhail Franco is the batter. He gets a 4-8. That is going to be a single. That's been a bugaboo for Rich Hand. At 4-8. Kelvin Gutierrez is up. He gets a 1-5. That's going to be a strikeout. Cedric Mullins is up with 1 down. That's a 4-12. That's a walk. Unfortunately, there's a guy on base ahead of him because he is a good base stealer. He could have stolen. Austin. I apologize again. Austin Hayes is up. 4-8. There we go again. Single double asterisk and a run scores. And Mullins goes to third, and Hayes with the hit. Hand gives up the hit, the second run, and it's a tie game with runners at the corners. And let's see. Yeah. And Ramon Urias is up with only 1 out. That's a 4-8. There it is again. Single double asterisk. Run scores Mullins. Sends Hayes to third. And now it's 3-2 Orioles. Runners at the corners. And Mountcastle up. 5-7. Ground ball to second. Unfortunately, their second baseman's a 5. That's a 9. That's a single 1. So that's going to be another run. And it is now 4-2. And Mancini is up. That is a 4-10. That's a fly ball right field C. 2 down. Santander is up. He gets a 6-5. That's a strikeout. and with the K, but 3 runs come in for the Orioles. And the Orioles now have a 4-2 lead. And Means will come back out to pitch to the Rangers. That will start with Levito. He gets a 4-6. That's a fly to right. Hal King is up. That's a 3-6. That's a ground ball, third base. 5-3. And Lenny Randall is up. 5-8, ground ball to second. Their second baseman is a 4. That is an 11. And that's going to be an out. So, no runs for the Rangers. They're down by 2, top of the 6th. Severino will be batting for the Orioles. We'll put Means off to the side, but we are going to go get another pitcher for Texas. They can't afford to give up any more runs. So we are going to let's see. We're going to bring in Paul Lindblad, who pitched 100 innings all in relief. He had a 262 earned run average. Hand goes 5. So we will write Lindblad in there. And Pedro Severino up. He gets a 2-8. That's a strikeout. Lindblad faces one batter, and he's out. Mikhail Franco up. 6-10. That is going to be a ground ball to second. So he's out 4-3, and that brings up Kelvin Gutierrez. And he gets a 3-8, and that's a pop out to short. So no runs for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Means is going to still be out there. He's pitching really, actually pretty well. Dave Nelson up. That is a 4-12 pop out to shortstop. Which brings up Elliot Maddox. He gets a 4-6. That's a fly to right. And Toby Hare is up. Toby Hare gets a 3-11. That is a line out to the shortstop. Top of the 7th inning. Lindblad's still in there. I mean, he pitched 100 in relief, so. Cedric Mullins is the leadoff hitter here in the 7th. He gets a 3-8. That is a strikeout. So Lindblad putting out the fire, but the Rangers got to come up with at least, 3 more runs. Hayes is up, 5-11. Ground ball to the first baseman. He's a 3. That is an 8. 8-3 is an out. And that brings up Boston Urias. And he gets a 2-8, which is a single. So Urias, with his 3rd hit, he is 3 for 4 today. And Ryan Mountcastle coming up after him with a 3-2, which is a fly ball to left field. No runs for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Means is still going out there. Like I said, the Orioles bullpen is horrible. So if Means can pitch a complete game, and I really pretty much just ignore inning of weakness. I just play according to how the pitchers are doing. Ted Ford is up. And that's going to be a 3-6, which is a strikeout. Dick Billings is up. He gets a 1-2. That's a fly ball to right. And Larry Double-I Bittner gets a 5-8. Ground ball to second base. Their second baseman is a 4. That's a 15. And that's an out. No runs for Texas in the 7th. The score is still 4-2. We go to the top of the 8th. The Orioles batting in the top of the 8th and winning the game so far. Lindblad will go back out there again. And Trey Mancini is the batter. He gets a 4-4. That's a fly to center. Their center fielder is a 2. That is a 19. 19 and 2 is an out. Santander is the batter. He gets a 6-8. That is a walk. Second man allowed on by Lindblad. He's allowed a hit and a walk. And that brings Severino to the plate. He gets a 3-5. That is a single. That'll move Santander to second. He's not going to try to go to third. He could try, but they're not going to try. Franco is up. And that was a hit allowed. 1-6 is a ground ball, double play to third base. So that's a 5-4-3 double play. And that is the Orioles out of the inning. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. And the Orioles will bring in another pitcher, even though they probably shouldn't. Means will stop at 7. I want to be realistic here, right? Yeah, all these guys have ERAs that are over 4. And some of them are in the 5s and 6s. Okay, they're going to bring in a Tanner Scott. So we will write Scott in. Scott in 2021 was 5-4 with a 5.17 earned run average. Larry Bittner is the first batter he'll face. No, wait, Levito is. Levito gets a 3-5. That's a strikeout. Scott with the strikeout. He was big on strikeouts, so that's why I brought him in. He pitched 54 innings and struck out 70. Hal King is up. He gets a strikeout. These are all off the batter's cards, too. But, you know, you got to figure once they get on Scott's card, there's a good chance, too. 2 down, and Lenny Randle is the batter, and he gets a 4-5, which is a strikeout. And that was off of Scott's card, and he strikes out 3 guys. He faces 3 guys. He strikes them all out. And Texas gets nothing in the 8th. We go to the top of the 9th. Again, Baltimore leading 4-2 and batting here in the 9th inning. Kelvin Gutierrez, we will put Scott off to the side for a second. And you know what? Texas will bring in another guy. Lindblad has pitched 3 innings. So we'll let someone else get a chance. And they're going to bring in Horatio Pena. In 1972, Pena was 2-7 with a .320 earned run average in 76 innings pitched. And Kelvin Gutierrez is the batter. 5'7" is a ground to second. Their second baseman's a 5, though. That's killing them. 10-5 at second base. That's an out. So that's actually he makes the play there. 4-3, which brings up Mullins. Mullins gets a 4-10. That's going to be a fly to center, so he's out. And Austin Hayes is up with 2 down and nobody on, and he gets a 1-7, which is a pop out to short. So the Orioles get nothing in the ninth. We go to the bottom of the ninth, and Dave Nelson is the batter, and Tanner Scott will stay out there. Dave Nelson, top of the order. 2-7 is a fly to left. Which brings up Elliot Maddox. Elliot Maddox gets a strikeout. So that's the 4th strikeout for Scott. He's pitched great. Toby Hara is the batter, and he is going to ground out to the shortstop. 6-3. That is your final score. The 2021 Orioles win the game over the 72 Rangers by the score of 4-2. Means gets the win, and Scott gets the save, with the loss going to Rich Hand. And that will be it for me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zuhlke, signing off.